Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wizard's Den. This is going to be a little quick video I'm going to make on my library and just to show everybody that I guess in kind of a direct way, I'm not actually full of shit, or I'm not. I'm coming from a place of of experience and well-readness, I guess is how you could say this. I'm going to show you the books that are in my library and show you what is the books that I have studied out of over the last 20-some years. Some of these books are newer than others. Some of them I bought recently. One that I have bought recently, which is one of my favorite books, which is by an author by the name of Gerald Massey. This particular book is hard to find too. I found this at the Renaissance bookstore. It's actually was published in the late 19th century, like 1880 sometime, and it's this is called The Historical Jesus and the Mythical Christ by Gerald Massey, as you can see. And this publication, of course, is a newer publication of the book, obviously, but because he's still published. That's how important his work is. And people like Alvin Boyd Kuhn were his work, which Timothy Freke and Peter Gandy use in the Jesus Mystery series a lot. They refer to Alvin Boyd Kuhn and they refer to Gerald Massey quite a bit. And so there's one book in particular. I'm just kind of going through some of these books that are just happen to be sitting right here, and then we'll move back to my bookshelf and show you some more. Here is another publication I recently bought not too long ago. This is Plato's Republic, The Republic. Okay, very famous and old piece of work that goes back to 5th century BC. So old, very old. Okay, there's Plato's Republic. Here is a book. I'm just going to go through these randomly. There's no order. Here's one called, this is also Marvin Meyer, which also worked on the translations of the Gnostic Bible, which I have. This is the Gnostic Discoveries. This book basically just talks about the discovery of the Nag Hammadi Library. And I'm just holding this phone, so my video is a little bit shaky, so I apologize about that. That's an extremely great book that has lots of photographs of the actual texts and things like this, and showing you all the lacuna, meaning the holes and all this kind of stuff, and showing you the process they had to go through in order to, bring these texts to us and be able to publish and print them. So there's a considerable amount of work, a great amount of work went into this back in the 40s, 45 when the Nag Hammadi was found. Here is the Gnostic Gospel of St. Thomas by Tal Malachi. He's a Kabbalist, a Gnostic Christian. This book is a great publication because it's got a commentary on each of the phrases or sayings. It's a sayings gospel. It's just verse of sayings or verses that are just Jesus' teachings, and they're just numbered. And it's a really wonderful book to really get into the depth and the interpretation, the Kabbalistic type interpretations of these Gnostic Gospels. We call them Gnostic Gospels because we know that's kind of the theology that's in them is generally considered Gnostic by scholars, which I've already explained in some other videos, which is generally a scholar's term. It's a Gnosticism, just like pagan, is a scholar's term. It's a generic term that just refers to this type of group and this type of religious ideology and belief system. And so going on, here is another one by Malachi. Here is the book St. Mary Magdalene. This is the Gospel of St. Mary Magdalene, and that he published, same author. Here's another one, actually happens to be sitting right here. Here is the I'm reading this backwards, Gnosis of the Cosmic Christ by Malachi again, Tal Malachi. And this is basically my Kabbalah that I study out of. This is a Christian Kabbalah. And then we can go in here, we can look, and I've got, look at here, this is the Upanishads. If you're not familiar with this is the Hindus' sacred text. This is one of their sacred texts. This is the Upanishads. It's a recent publication that's got some great commentary and really a great translation. This is one, if you're interested in Hinduism or you're interested in the Eastern theology and things like that, and the Upanishads is a classic. It's like, their Bible. Here is the Bhagavad Gita. This is speaks more about Krishna, and it's the story of Krishna. And this is a very another extremely important text in the Hindu religion, and so it's called the Bhagavad Gita. And another really good newer publication of that, which I would suggest getting if you're interested in that. That kind of thing. Then I also have here, sitting here, this is like a tome. Look at the thickness of this thing. This is like a tome. This is the Gnostic Bible. This thing is huge, and it has every Gnostic writing, virtually every Gnostic writing that you could imagine has been founded and is found and discovered and translated and printed. And Marvin Meyer was also a part of that book, a doctor of religion and philosophy and all that stuff. I'm not sure exactly what his credentials were, but he was involved in all those publications, those Gnostic publications. Now, I'm here at my library. I'm going to flip this around real quick. I'm going to show you this, okay? There's a little look at that. I'm not sure exactly what you're seeing here, but anyway. And there's down there. Okay, so we're looking at my library books here, and there is, I'm going to show you, I'm not going to go through every book here, but there's a considerable amount of occult books here. We're going to start with this one. This is the Book of Thoth, okay? Published probably in the 30s, I believe, or something like that. I can't remember, maybe early 40s or late 30s, or whatever, before Crowley died. And I can, it's a extremely important book when studying tarot and these kind of things. Here is the Holy Books of Thelema. Okay, this is like, you know, this has got the Book of the Law. This has got all those Crowley writings in the Holy Books of Thelema. Here's 777 by Crowley. This is all Kabbalistic works and a reference book for Kabbalah. Let's see here. This is another one of my favorite Crowley books. This is called The Book of Wisdom and Folly. This is another really great one that he had wrote to one of his magical students that had fallen to his opinion to, well, he'd converted back to Catholicism, and he was, you know, a wayward child in Crowley's opinion. There's some other ones here. I got Lon Milo Duquette talking about the magic of Aleister Crowley. Gets more deep into that. This is Lon Milo Duquette, another occultist that's more latter 20th century occultist that writes and publishes a lot of stuff. There's one called Low Magic by Milo Duquette. And then we get into Peter Carroll. We've got Peter Carroll Chaos Magic, Liber Null, and Psychonaut. Another very, you know, a heavy occult book that gets into magic and all that kind of stuff. We got The Keys of Solomon by Lon Milo Duquette. We've got The Book of Lies by Crowley, another one of his publications, famous publications, The Book of Lies, where he talks and interprets Mother Goose rhymes and shows you that all these things were, you know, actual, you know, they were a type of allegory or metaphor for spiritual lessons, you know, Little Bo Peep and all these Mother Goose rhymes and all this stuff that actually go back and have, you know, mythical connections to them. They're not just a bunch of children's rhymes. Then here we have Eliphas Levi, the guy who actually came up with the Baphomet. He kind of designed the Baphomet. I believe it's in this book. You can find the illustration of it, the original illustration. This is The Keys of the Mysteries by Eliphas Levi, which was translated by Aleister Crowley whenever it was. I can't remember he put that out. And I'm going to skip through some of these. Here's an interesting one. Here's a very erudite scholar that she's either passed away or she's very old by now, but Elaine Pagels. This is the Gnostic Gospels, and this is just a very scholarly read to help you understand the nature of the Gnostic Gospels. Here is Pistis Sophia. Here's a copy of Pistis Sophia, another Gnostic text. I have the Gospel of Judas here. Here we go, the Gospel of Judas, published in, I think, 07 or so. And this was one I actually did a whole video on and talk about oh, the 13th sun sign and all this, Ophiuchus, and it gets really chin deep and all that stuff. Here's another gospel, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. There's another copy. It's a different, this is called the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. It's a different publication of that same gospel that I mentioned earlier. Here's the Gospel of Philip, which is a similar, looks like publisher that's in this one. There's the Gospel of Philip, which is the one who mentions, Jesus kisses Mary on the lips frequently, and that kind of thing is, I believe, in that gospel, that famous line. Here's an interesting book by Dan Merker, The Mystery of Manna, and it talks about psychoactive substance in the manna bread and the Bible, the ergot that and all that, and that was that from molded bread, and that likely a lot of these visions and things, these religious visions, came from psychedelic experiences. Here is the Ark, the Shroud, and Mary by Philip Gardner. I used to have a book called The Serpent Grill by Philip Gardner, which was an amazing book, and I wound up loaning someone, and I never got it back. Here is Gnostic Secrets of the Nassenes. The Nassenes were an early Gnostic group and a proto-Christian group that was Gnostic in its theology as well. And this is by Mark Gaffney, and an amazing read here as well. Gnostic Secrets of the Nassenes. I've had these books, a lot of these books I've had for a long time.